Welcome to Raging Bullets, a DC Comics fan podcast, Season 3, Episode 781.
From the sleepy suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, there are assembled the world's two greatest podcast hosts, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Sean Whalen.
Welcome to Raging Bullets, a DC Comics fan podcast. I'm a big fan of variant colors. My love for Batman is that stuff. Let's talk some comics.
And Jim Segulin.
How's it going, eh? You know me and Superman. I'm really loving what they're doing. Raging Bullets is a spoiler podcast.
Their mission, to discuss DC Comics in books, movies, and television several times a month in 1 to 3 hour episodes. And to serve all mankind.
Outstanding.
Welcome to Raging Bullets. I'm Sean Whalen, drnorge, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Jim, the sensei of the whatnot, the Duke of the Sultan of Strategery, the Minister of More Gooder. Is so happy that we have another amazing song parody from Eli, and is of course the elder statesman of the podcast, Segulin.
How's it going, eh?
On this episode, we're going to be talking about Batman Hush in the first of what looks to be a 4-part exploration of the series. And I want to give a very special shout out to Eli Ganias. Eli has over the years presented for us amazing song parodies, and please listen to the end of this episode for our new closing theme song, which has been presented by Eli. So, and actually he's responsible for that amazing opening theme song that we have as well. So he's bookending our show. So thank you so much, Eli, always for your support.
Thank you, Eli. It's absolutely amazing. And I was dancing for it, and Sean can attest because he saw me boogieing to it. This gets not only 2 thumbs up, but I'm bringing back the big toe. I'm raising the big toe for you, man. Outstanding. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, now we're watching this on, I can actually see Jim, and he actually did put up his big toe. So, we are sponsored, as always, by DCB Service and InStockTrades.com. Mr. Segulin, what is going on over at DCB Service?
It's neat. The Absolute line is doing absolute. And, Batman #1 is up to an 8th printing. Superman #1 is up to a 6th printing. Wonder Woman's up to a 7th printing. And then all the other ones have multiple printings up to 3, 4, etc. So it's absolutely doing wonderful job. So, if you missed it, pick them up. They're still available. Also, we have Batman and Robin Year 1 hardcover, 38% off, only $24.79. We're starting up the DCKO miniseries, issue 1 of 4, 48% off, only $3.11. And we have the Justice League, the Omega Hacked one-shot, 38%, only $3.71. All of those the DCKO and the Justice League also have variant covers available. So thank you, DCBS.
Yeah, there's some big things coming for DC in the fall, and we are going to be covering them. So we're looking at, one of the things you've noticed was we like covering story arcs, and we are going to be covering these arcs in chunks. We'll be doing like a part 1 and a part 2. We're going to cover the full arc for some of these stories, like DCKO. I really want to do, where that one is 4 issues and more than likely will be 1 episode. But depending on what tie-ins and things like that look like for it and how we want to handle those. Might be 2 episodes, but the Omega Act, stuff like that's coming up. We're going to be covering those in the podcast. I'm really excited to be doing some of those as the fall comes up. Over at InStockTrades.com, we have our deals of the week. Batgirl trade paperback, Volume 1, Mother, is $17.99 regularly, 48% off, only $9.35. DC Finest, Hawkman, Wings Across Time trade paperback, $39.99 regularly, 55% off, only $17.99. DC Horror presents $9.99 regularly, 48% off, only $5.19. I want to thank DCB Service and InStockTrades.com for continuing to support our show. Mr. Segulin, what kind of a podcast are we?
Raging Bullets is a spoiler podcast. We go in-depth into plot lines, story twists, and whatnot of the comics we're discussing on today's show. So if you haven't read the books, you may want to come back later so you can better enjoy the show.
Let's talk Hush. Our discussion this episode is going to be a Batman Hush. Jeff Loeb is the writer, Jim Lee on pencils, Scott Williams on inks, Alex Sinclair on colors, Richard Starkings is the letterer, Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair are the cover artists. Batman, of course, created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. And wow, this is one... There's a number of stories, actually. I'm going back through and looking at what we've done and what we haven't. This was one I was shocked that we never did. I know we've talked about it many times in like conversation and passing. Never realized we never did this one. The cover for this first issue is iconic. It's Jim Lee's version of Batman kind of swinging onto the scene. This is going to seem like a strange thing to focus on. I love functional boots.
Yeah.
And he always has tread on the boots. There's certain artists that do. I'm not against the ones that don't do that and that type of thing, but there's something about Batman when I think of the man with the utility belt, he's street level, all that kind of stuff. He's got like boot treads when Jim Lee does it. And I really dig that. Also, I think that would really hurt when it kicks you in the face. So, I mean, it kind of works on a whole bunch of levels, but it's something that I just, a tiny attention to detail, but I really dig his Batman because it's appeared in a lot of media. It's appeared not only in comics, but it's been utilized for games and just a lot of different platforms just because it's Jim Lee. And wow, this picture is always one. I like the way he does the cape too. Like I love his version of when the cape faps. It actually looks like there's some kind of structure to it, like in order for that to flow that way. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. It was funny. I was thinking, I knew you were gonna open up with talking about this cover just because of the boots. That's what and here's the thing, I completely agree with you. I like functional costumes. I like functional look to the costume. It makes sense. It works well. And again, I'm echoing everything you said about Jim Lee. I love his artwork. So this for me was an absolute joy to go through, and I'm so glad we talked about this one.
I'd be interested to know like how color palettes work at DC when it comes to characters like Batman. Is there like a set series of color? Because different artists, obviously, the character comes off a little darker, a little bit lighter in its color tone. But there's something about this. This whole color work is just outstanding. I know Alex Sinclair is the one that does the colors on this piece. And I just love the palette they use for Batman on it. It just really works. It's the right mix of like dark blues and blacks and things like that just kind of, this is the Dark Knight, Yeah. I love this kind of stuff.
Well, it's interesting, like with shade and shadows, mm-hmm. A lot of people would just throw black. And I'm like, no, it's blues. Mm-hmm. It's gray blues, especially when you're in a city. A gray blue is really heavy predominant. And I like, again, that we get these little variations on the coloring. And it's when I talk about how much I love Jim Lee's art, it's not just Jim Lee. It is pencils, inks, coloring, all working together, doing a brilliant team. So Alex Sinclair, yes, tip the hat to him because of
Scott Williams on inks. I mean, to your point,
Scott Williams on inks. Yeah, this is a 100% team, art team that did an absolute brilliant job, not just on this cover, but on the entire book. As we're going through this book, there are a lot of moments when I caught myself just stopping and staring and appreciating the artwork. And it's what I'm going back in my head to when I first read this. I know I didn't appreciate the artwork as much as I do now. And that's something that the podcast has gotten me to do, is to actually appreciate more than just how fast can I get through a book. Is when I was younger reading, and even when we first started doing this podcast, there was a lot of times I was just like, okay, I got to knock out the read. I got to get the read done, and I was just going through fast, and I wasn't taking my time and enjoying it. And that was the birth of the 3 reads for me, because when I realized I was just knocking it out, I'm like, no, settle down and read it again. Now let's do it one more time. And it's really it's amped up my appreciation for this medium. So, yeah.
I wonder how he did this with regards to laying out the building in the background, because Gotham's a character in this piece as well. But the thing is, you got the cape that's flowing over the building, right? And in your mind, you can see that it is structurally sound. Like, if you pulled the cape down, you're expecting that the rest of that building's there, even though it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so that's one of the, like, there's not flaws in how its perspective is, which is something that that's an interesting thing to do when you've got this big cape flowing over, as far as making it look. It looks very pretty, and it looks like it's real, which it should. I mean, it seems like a weird thing to point out, but it's not something I always notice, and I'm like, wow, that's like, everything's scaled right. Like, yeah, it looks really good. So this story is such an interesting one because of it, all the things that it does well, and introducing a brand new villain, introducing history to Batman, to Bruce Wayne in particular, that wasn't there before, introducing really how he got some of his strategic background came from the friendship that we're going to be dealing with, in the complicated friendship that we're going to be dealing with in this story. It does Alfred well. It does Catwoman well. It does Huntress well. I mean, there's so many characters in this that it does really well. This opening bit is everything I love about Batman. We're jumped right in with his James Bond opening sequence. It's saving this kid who has been kidnapped. And the strategy is really important for this, because this book is bookended. This particular issue is bookended all about strategy and analyzing your opponent, getting to know your opponent. It's something Tommy says to him later, younger Tommy, that he constantly loses because he doesn't do this. And we see how, yes, he does. It's interesting to reread this story. Like, if you never reread it, do it, because you catch things that you didn't before. And I did not catch this when I read it in the initial run. Reading it now, it's like, I'm like, oh, that is so cool. I love that. Yeah. Tommy kind of built that into his place. But he does analyze each individual person to know their weaknesses and to be able to utilize them. You know, the one he's using those like chemical tipped batarangs. The other one, it's the magnet. Just piece after piece. The one likes to fight close up, taking advantage of every single thing that is their thing. I love the Batman that analyzes situation. Internal Batman dialogue is not something we always get, nor is it something that we should always get in every story. This one, you need it. I love the fact that we're getting to get inside the head of the Dark Knight. I'm playing on the MetaQuest right now, the Batman game, Arkham Shadow, where you are looking through the eyes of the Dark Knight. And there's sequences where, the character's talking and there's narration and things like that. And it's super cool. This feels like I'm in a VR game right now with how it is reading. And I love that. I love that perspective when writers and artists are able to make you feel like I'm looking through the eyes of the bat right now. And that is just a great opening sequence. Great action, great opening sequence, great strategy.
Oh God, yeah. And again, throwing out the coloring, going with the night vision mode. Uh-huh. So it's got the heavy green tint that we're all used to, what we would expect night vision to look like. So I love that, but I also love the overlay of the targeting system that his cowl has, and just the HUD that he's got going on. I love when you see stuff like that, because again, it adds to how, he's jacked up, he is trained, he's done all type of stuff, but he's got the technology as well on top of that. And I love seeing that kind of get laid out here. And I especially loved the time, how he's like, I got 1 minute, 13 seconds. And there's this pending doom. We don't know that it's Croc coming back. We don't know what he's up against. All we know is that Bat is on a time crunch.
Yes.
To find the hostage and get the hostage out. And I loved initially, we don't know it's a kid until we get that first introduction we first see the kid. So we just know a hostage. We don't know it's a kid. And then when we see the kid, we're like, oh, okay, that's really why he was pushing it, why he was really going as fast as he can. But that wasn't the whole reason. I love the fact that it wasn't just because it's a kid he's got to go. It's because we've got a Killer Croc who's about to pounce on him.
Who will kill the kid?
Who will kill the kid?
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah. Which that Batman's MO and the whole thing have been like, Croc's going to kill the kid. Yeah. And it's not, money doesn't matter here. You're going to give him the money all you want to. This kid's going to die.
Yeah. I loved that. I loved how they played that out.
That part is really interesting. Something that I've really come to appreciate right now that I didn't before. When Batman hangs these villains upside down to interrogate them, Like,
Yeah.
it was always the bat motif that was why he did it. Like, why upside down? Because it's the Batman thing, right? You're hanging your prey upside down and doing that whole thing, and because it's a very bat-like thing to do, sorta. I love the idea that it's the blood rushing to the head. All those kind of pieces, it throws them off balance. It's something I appreciate more now in a way that before I was just kind of like, man, that's really cool that he does that because it's a Batman thing. It makes sense too.
Yeah.
Like that really puts him in a very vulnerable state. If you've been upside down for any period of time, that like it takes you a little while to catch your balance afterwards. Now imagine hanging like that. That's what it's doing in this. This is really, really cool. When he's interrogating the villain and making that work. The kid being kidnapped and being off his guard. Now all of a sudden Batman's showing up, and I like that there is the initial comparison to Superman in Batman's mind. I'm not the Boy Scout. I'm not Superman when I'm there. The kid's a little scared, all those kind of pieces, and he's not necessarily the source of comfort. Where I do love by the end of this story, it's just the opposite. Where's Batman? Yeah. It's like,
I want to go with Batman.
Yeah, exactly. That part is really, really cool. This opening chapter 1 where I'm going to get you out of there. It's another striking, the muscles, Jim Lee draws a badass Batman.
And again, this Batman, the look here, 100% always reminds me to, the Dark Knight.
Yes.
I always
a younger version.
This is a younger version of that Batman, and I love that.
Yeah. There's something. He's a little more blocky, and when I say blocky, don't take that as a negative, like pieces like that. But there's a bulk to Batman that Nightwing doesn't have. Nightwing should have it because Nightwing's more of an acrobat. Nightwing should look a different kind of athletic. Bruce is more of a beast in those sequences, and it's something I like about him.
And also throughout Absolute Batman has that same kind of blockiness to him. Completely different art teams, but it's that still same kind of physical presence in that series as well. So I like
that he's bigger in Absolute Batman than he is here, though.
Yeah.
And I'm just not disagreeing with you because I do think that Batman is a different sort of training than this Batman.
Yes.
There's a little more balance to this guy than that. That one is really training to be a hulking beast. I'm glad you mentioned that one because he's an example of more of a more poundage on him too, but it is a different kind of muscle workout that he's doing. He's trying to be, he's Rocky Balboa training.
Yes. He's bringing some hurting power.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And there's a very different presence with him and what he's trying to do. Whereas this one's a little more about efficiency. I do like the escape with the kid and all of that piece and what it looks like. I like that we show him climbing through things and escaping because we're underground. The fact that patches are opening up and we're kind of going through that attention to detail gave me a sense of moving through an environment, which is something that I don't always remember being a thing in stories. And I love that they did that in this because it did give me more of this escape sense here, which was kind of cool.
And talk of attention to detail. I still love the reflection of Croc in the kids' glasses.
Yes.
When he says, look out, and you look, you can see Croc's face in the one, and then his hand in the other eyeglass. I was like, that is something that just, I love when they do that stuff, because that is absolutely brilliant. Because again, brings to a great power of the page flip that when they flip it, that's when you see full-time Croc is there, and you're like, okay, this is going to be a good fight.
Did you catch Catwoman's Waldo appearance?
Yes.
Underneath Croc's arm?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That is beautiful.
Now, for the record, I caught that on the art read-through. Yeah. I've never really seen that, or I don't remember seeing that before until I was actually sitting there focusing on the artwork that I actually saw it. But that's, again, brilliant usage of her.
Yeah, the page we're talking about is the page where it's the double-page spread with Croc and Batman first coming to blows the first time. And Batman's kind of like sliding under him. And right underneath Croc's left arm, underneath his left arm where he's holding the case, you'll actually see in the background Catwoman in the shadows, which was really important, I think, is like, when did she first get on the scene? What's she doing? This was the plan. Her plan all along was to take that money.
She's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
When Bruce went in, she was just waiting for him.
Yeah.
You know, when he got past the line of defense, she went right along with him. Just because that's who she is. And I loved her usage in this whole series, but especially this first issue.
Yes.
This was a really neat Catwoman story that was told. This is a great Batman story, but this is also a great Catwoman story on the whole Hush series I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But it's, again, I loved that little tidbit. That was something, again, and it's funny, did they need to do that? No. But the fact that they did that...
I would disagree. I say, yes, they did need to do it because of all the reasons we're geeking out over it.
Well, I think that's the whole reason that it would... If they hadn't done it, I wouldn't be disappointed. I wouldn't be disappointed in the artwork I'm being given because this is absolutely brilliant. But that little extra, it makes it go, oh my God.
That's why they needed to do it. No, I actually, one of the things I appreciate about this is all the little extras.
Yes.
I think it's something that this story is filled with a lot of them. I appreciate when teams do that because of the fact that you're right, and it's something I'm disagreeing with you. You're right. They didn't have to do it, but when they do it, it adds something. Yeah. And those little pieces just add more atmosphere. They add more story. They add more everything.
It's the difference between a really good art team and an amazing art team. Those little steps are what makes this an amazing art team. Now,
I'm wondering with stories like this what the lead time was too. Because remember, this is the first issue out of the gate of this story. So they were not the regular creative team on this book. So I'm wondering if they had extra lead time or something like that. And that's not me dismissing or diminishing anything. One of the things we've been fortunate enough to talk to some artists on the show that are working on monthly books. And those deadlines are a very, very real thing. That leads to sometimes fill-in issues and things like that because of the fact that we're used to a monthly cadence of books and to avoid delays and stuff for a particular storyline. So I'm wondering if this was given some extra lead time because I think every issue of this came out on time, if I remember correctly. If it didn't, there was minimal delays. I don't remember this being a very disjointed release schedule for this book. If there were some delays along the way, which when you get this kind of detail in artwork, usually there are delays. I mean, it's part of the extra that you get is the fact that you need some you need some extra time for it. Croc. We were talking about Croc. I don't want to dismiss what they did with Croc on this one. So when you have big crossover story, I shouldn't say crossover, but big event stories like this in a particular book, there's always this really cool opportunity to take some villains and kick them up a notch. Batman's defeated them many times. It's got it. What's the hook? Why should I feel there's more danger? Something's been done to Croc here. And it's the incentive for Croc to be stealing the money. It's the incentive for the things that he's doing. He's been mutated further, which when you are already a mutated beast, now you're even uglier. But you're also far more powerful and stuff like that. It's going to make you just more irrational. And I really like that Batman's surviving this fight.
Yeah.
It's really the danger all the way going through. Yeah, there's a win that goes on in this piece, but it really is Batman needs to survive and keep this kid out of harm's way. Because I do agree with his thinking that this kid's going to be a lunchable if he does not get him out of there. And I really like that part that it's far more important to get the victim out of there than the money is right now. Batman's focus.
Yeah. Yes, and again, I loved what they did with him. They loved how much more monstrous they made him. Mm-hmm. It's funny because a lot of the Bat villains have people that you can feel bad for. Mm-hmm. Croc is one of them. He was a guy who got mutated, or I'm not 100% certain on his backstory, but I know he was a normal person who became this. And in becoming this, his options kind of change. You're not going to hire an accountant that looks like this. Let's be honest. You're not going to go into the bank and say, hey, I'd like to have a job here with a nice tie and a suit. They're going to turn you away because you look like this. And
they'll hire fraud guys that look like this.
Yeah. Well, again, the villain side, criminal elements, like, I don't care. You can do the job. Let's rock and roll, buddy. But so his options were kind of limited, and you do feel bad for some of the bad villains because of situation kind of turned them to crime. Now, the fact that he's going to eat a kid, and we all know he's going to eat a kid, does not it reduces the amount of sympathy I have for him, but also even that's kind of explained in that the changes make him more animal. It's what is causing him to do this? Is it his nature that he's a bad guy, or is it what's been done to him? Has that changed him? And that's a really interesting kind of situation when it comes to guys like Croc. Is he truly evil, or is he somebody who is manipulated and somebody who is just, because he was mutated, he turned into the animal? I don't know. I'd love to see like just a story of Croc where, and we do get a couple stories later on about Croc where he's not the monster anymore. He's still Croc, but he's got more of the human side of him, especially when he was in charge of that underground community in Gotham. And we've seen a couple times where he's played the good guy. And he's one of those characters I like seeing those kind of stories with. But in this usage here, he's absolutely brilliant. I love the animal. I love the monster.
So Croc originally had a genetic condition that caused this. So it wasn't done to him. I mean, well, okay. I guess done to him depends on how you look at that. But it was, he was born with, some deformity. You know, it was a condition, skin condition initially. I have to really look back and see what his origin is in continuity now. Cause over time, things have been done with him. Some of them to like try and revert back to human things, how things happen with villains along the way and they end up making you worse.
Yeah.
It's been that kind of thing. But he used to look more human with scales. And that was a thing. He actually was the original killer of Jason Todd's parents too. And there was pre-crisis and post-crisis Jason Todd that were very close to each other. And it changed to Two-Face. But, there was an interesting backstory with this particular character. So yeah, no, originally it was a skin condition, and apparently it got worse.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a thing, but a lot of that has been. Then to your point, there has been other experimentation that's gone on with him over time, but I don't know. His origin's an interesting one as far as what it is now. I have to look. I've keep jumping between eras when I read Batman stories. So I've got to like try to keep in mind, like, what era is this? Like, what is this considered now? Because that is kind of the tricky thing with Rebirth.
Yeah.
Like Rebirth put a lot of stuff back in play. So I'm wondering what his origin is there. Are you reading the history of the DC universe, the new history, the one by Mark Waid? Are you?
I haven't. I've gotten it, but I haven't read it yet.
So I've read the first issue. It's outstanding. For anybody that's listening right now, it's just based on the tangent that I went on with that piece. If you're not reading this, read it. Cause what Mark Waid's doing is kind of organizing some of the stuff that's happened post Rebirth and giving us like, what is the current history now? And it's eye-opening. Some of the things that have been adjusted are good for you to know as a reader, as far as what the actual history of this particular shared universe that we're reading looks like. So check that book out. I know on the app, the first 2 issues are on there right now. I've been getting them in real time as they've been coming out, because I've got like the original one, or the old Wade and Perez one and things like that. I've got the singles off of that.
Nice.
So I wanted it for this too. And it's a really nice book to own. And I will buy the Inevitable Collected edition of it too, just because it's the history of the DC universe. They got me like a fish on a hook.
Yeah.
With this kind of, but it's good. It's Mark Waid. It's really, really good. Cause Mark Waid's got his hands on, he and Joshua Williamson. We've got some key writers right now that are doing a lot of the DC work right now. So if you haven't read that, I highly recommend it. It's very, very good reading. When he kicks him into that pipe, I love that. The slam. I like when Batman utilizes the environment with a stronger opponent, uses their leverage and things like that. That's something that I just feel is very Batman. It's something as a kid in the book and record set that I used to have one with Batman and Sherlock Holmes and Batman and Grodd. It was the Batman and Grodd one. When he was going up against Grodd, there was a lot of him using leverage in order to be able to fight, because Grodd was just overpowering him. Did you have any of the Batman book and record sets?
No.
Yeah, it's well worth seeking out. I think the record itself, I think you can see it on YouTube now, but the artwork in a lot of that and I had to go back and see it again, was Neil Adams. I mean, I've got multiple book and record sets, and I believe at least a couple of them were Neil Adams art. My reason for my question mark on that piece is it's been years because I don't have a record player. It's been years since I've grabbed them, but I need to grab them and just look at the materials just to see the artwork and the original stories because they're comics. I mean, yeah. And the nice part about that, the one I'm talking about, it was a 33 1/3 record, and the whole booklet that went along with it matched the size of the record. Remember how some of the ones were smaller, like they fit like a 45 in there? This was a 33 1/3 record that I'm talking about with the Grodd story and the Sherlock Holmes story. It was larger art. Yeah. So it was like an absolute before there were absolutes.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's worth seeking out if you can find a copy of it just to have the beautiful artwork that's associated. I do like when Edward's cheering at the end for him. It's like, Edward, be quiet. Yeah. It's like this poor kid's been through a trauma. And Batman's like, just shut up. The conclusion with him and the squad that is there trying to take care of this kid, I like how this is not how I would have handled it. And Batman's right back, this is my city. Yeah. He's such a Batman answer. She's like, let me finish. I'm trying to say you did a good job, buddy.
Yeah. No, she's like, I'm trying to give you a compliment, you ass.
Yeah, exactly. He's not having it.
I love that. Again, it's in also just you're looking at that single panel there. This is my city. I love the artwork on this because we had the moment with the kids like, I want to stay with Batman. Yeah, that great moment, but then just that backdrop of the city behind him as he's looking out. That, again, brilliant artwork on this book.
And when you flip the page and you're taking a look at what he's scanning the environment, I do think that sometimes the reason why Batman's a jerk, and this is maybe my own head rationalizing it, when you're distracted, right? And you are scanning the area, looking for things going on. You're not paying attention to things like manners.
Well, he's focused on one thing. Yeah. He's focused on the task at hand. So I get why he's being a jerk here, but also it does give him a bit of an air of the unknown, whereas Bruce Wayne is Mr. Hey, how you doing? Friendly. Batman's. So it's kind of like the Clark Kent being goofy and dopey and to throw people off of him being Superman. It's his version of doing that.
Yeah. It's so funny. We're recording this and we've got cameras on, which we've been doing for our last couple months or something like that. And I'm looking in my background because I got the Batman Wayne Foundation the other shoulder over there. And my Mego characters. I was just seeing online that new Mego characters have been at some point in time created. There's a Superman Red Sun Mego. There's a different version of the Batman Mego. There's a Nightwing Mego that they're on Amazon when I was like looking. So I want to see more, like how many more are in this line? Because there's two of them that I for sure need. They're not wants, they're needs off of there. The Red Sun Superman is a need.
Yeah.
And the Nightwing is a need. So if they're like official Migos, like they're going on the shelf behind me. I don't know where they're going to fit on there. They may have to rappel from the side of it, and Superman can fly. But the Red Sun Superman in a Mego form, that's kick butt.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm looking at your Wayne Foundation right now, and I think on the top, you've got those two kind of plush versions of Batman and Superman.
They're not really plush, but they look plush.
They look plush.
They came from Fan Expo.
Oh, cool.
Or no, it's either Fan Expo or GalaxyCon. You get, when you do the VIP package, you get like one of them, and this is a great scam. I shouldn't say scam, but I mean it's what it is. So they have those in Stranger Things as well. That way, I'm having trouble because I'm pointing in the direction that it looks like for me, but they have those in Stranger Things as well. They look like knitted characters, but they're really plastic. And it's a line of them. I actually have the Back to the Future characters. Every year there's a different one, but here's what they do: they give you the one that's in the VIP package. And then what you can do, because of the fact that you've got the VIP package, guess what they allow you to do?
They let you buy one.
You can buy more. And you can, wait, what's convenient about it? You can do it right when you're getting your package. Like, hey, look at this. By the way, there's two more of them that you can get right here and now.
save you some time. They're being very nice.
It's so convenient.
Very nice of them. That's That's what you call.
And I am the fish on the hook. I'm like flapping around and that type of thing. As they're like, what size is your shirt? And do you want these? And it's I want those.
Yeah, let's hook me up. Come on. I'm right with you, man. I'd be like, oh, sure. That's a good deal.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Outstanding.
Yeah. Wait, as far as deal, I don't know that they even sell it as a deal. It's more that you can get them right now.
It's convenient. Yeah.
It is. It's so convenient.
Saves you time. You don't have to go into the con and hunt them down. No, you get them right there.
And no, it's not something that you want to think about, because if you come back, what happens if they're gone?
Exactly.
That's right. So
while lasting, who knows how long they're going to last?
So it's been.
Sure you get it.
I got the Superman and Batman ones one year. I got Doc Brown and Marty the next year, and then there were 3 of them for Stranger Things this year. So I was like, let me grab them. They're cool, but I get where you're going with this. Back to where you're going. From a strategy standpoint, I have 2 of them right now sitting on top of the Wayne Foundation. I have a spot now for Red Sun Superman.
Exactly.
And I could technically put Nightwing up there too. Maybe have him fighting Red Sun Superman.
What? Here, hold on. Okay, so where you have the regular costume Superman, move the regular costume Superman up with Red Sun Superman.
Have him fighting Red Sun Superman?
Yeah, and put Nightwing down where Superman is, hanging out with Hawkman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman.
Or I could have Hawkman fighting Red Sun Superman.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
That would be a really good fight.
Yeah.
Because it's Hawkman.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Batman chasing Catwoman, which is where we're at right now. I really love when we get to see these sequences. This version of Catwoman, this costume of Catwoman's, when it first entered into the scene, was something that in her solo series, I really liked this costume. I don't remember if it was her solo series that had the first appearance of this, or if it was in Batman. But there's something about this being a functional cat burglar's outfit that I really, really like. I like the evolution of her over the years, where we didn't keep that. She's had great costumes, but they've needed to change with the times, because some of them were very clearly of the time that they were created in. I like this version of the cat suit because it looks like something that you would put together today if you were really trying to sneak into and do a jewelry heist of some sort. Like, that's an outfit that you'd wear. And it's still got the sleek and sexy Catwoman look that you're looking for, but it also's got that sense of like, oh, this like does something. And it's really, really cool. I also love the fact that the case is on her back.
Yes.
So she's keeping her hands free, so that way she can move and glide and escape in and out of environments. This is part of the game that's going on. That's what ends up happening when Batman's chasing her. It turns quickly into a cat and mouse game for her. And I love that. Between the 2 of them, he's got that mentality of, what are you doing? Why are you doing this right now? Even under Ivy's influence, she still got that piece of, she wanted him to be chasing her. Yeah. She likes the thrill of the chase. And that's something, there's something cool about it. You get the attraction that's there. Like, why is it there? Even though they're on opposing sides for this particular thing, you still get that. It's something that only happens in really good Batman and Catwoman stories. There's something different. We just saw the Killer Croc fight, right? Yeah. Batman's attitude, his demeanor, the conversation, the way everything's going down, it was him surviving the fight. Even his assault on the 3 guys at the beginning, there's none of this kind of stuff going on with that. This is unique to when he's with Catwoman. And I love that. I love that distinction. This is great writing.
And again, 3 attention to detail on the artwork that I love. 1, as they're swinging, as they're fighting, you see the 3 guys who are eventually going to play into effect when Bruce has his accident.
Yeah.
2, when they're showing him using his bat gun where he's for the rope line, I love the artwork on that, the front shot, showing it come out and showing the whole, just the kind of like the physics behind it. And 3, I love that on multiple scenes, you can see the ivy wrapped around Catwoman's hand. So they show where the influence is on multiple panels with Catwoman. You actually see the ivy ring around her wrist. Those are 3 attention to details that I absolutely love love about this.
I'll admit something here, too. It was multiple read-throughs before I noticed the ivy on the wrist for Catwoman.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, like, the first couple times I read through the story. That's one of the reasons why it's always really good to go back and reread these books.
Yeah.
It's something I appreciated. There might be people listening like, I didn't catch that at the beginning. I caught it the first read-through. I didn't. And you know where I actually caught it? It was when I first read the Absolute version.
Oh, really?
Larger art, where you're kind of going through. I think just there's something about that read-through I caught. That's where I also saw the shadowy Catwoman for the first time in the Killer Croc fight.
Oh, cool.
There's some, I mean, we all approach stories differently, and your eyes catch certain things that you didn't. And I'm just fully admitting that, like, it took multiple read-throughs before I caught certain things.
Well, okay, for me, I'll be honest with you. All of those things I've caught so far have been through this read-through, the art read-through. So when I first read this, because I didn't read this when this came out, because I wasn't reading comics when this came out. I read this when we started doing the show. I started going back through and reading back stories. You know, I think I read under Red Hood first, and then read this story because Judd Winnick did the 1 year later stuff that I really loved. And I remember you telling me, oh, he also did this Under the Hood story you got to read. I'm like, okay. So I went and I read that. And then after reading that is where I got my kind of introduction to Hush. I'm like, oh, I got to read the Hush story. So when I read this the very first time, it was after we're doing the podcast. And I'll tell you, I didn't notice any of those things. It wasn't until getting ready for this read through, I did my first read through. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm remembering stuff. I'm like, yeah. Then I did my art read through, and that's when I picked up all these little things. So it's multiple read throughs for me before I saw any of this stuff.
Now, one of the most important pieces that's happening right here, because this is critical, it sets the stage, is the line when it gets cut.
Yeah.
You know, he's about to grab her ankle,
yep.
And his line gets cut, and she's still playing the game, does not catch what happened there. This is an example where I think the influence of Ivy is critical, because she would have gone back, right?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
She 100% would have gone back if she wasn't under the influence.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the influence of Ivy, she's like, Batman, oh, okay. And she moved on because she's got I've got to deliver this money to Ivy going through her brain.
She also didn't see what happened to him.
Right.
Which is really critical for me, because here's the thing. I think Selina's a very strong character, and I feel like no influence of Ivy's would have prevented her from saving him if she had seen the danger he was in. I feel like she didn't see any of that. There's nothing to indicate that she did. She looks back with the question of Batman, but does not actually see what happens. Is that how you're reading this too?
100% how I read it.
Yeah.
Completely along with you. And even the artwork, you can see he is down below the line of sight before she lands. Yeah, because the way you can, the one panel right above where she goes, you were saying, when she sticks the landing,
yeah,
he's already down below the line of sight. And so she just looks over Batman and he's just gone. So for her, she's like, oh, okay. Then she moved on. And if she wasn't under Ivy's influence, then she would have done a little investigation saying, hey, what happened to the bat? You know?
Right. I agree.
But again, we're both reading it the exact same way. And I loved the fall of Batman. Again, multiple panels, brilliant storytelling, brilliant artwork, really lays this out. I love this.
Dialogue too.
Yes.
The dialogue carries that through. This is an example of where you really need the marriage of the art and the dialogue. One chance, my shoulder breaks. First, my body betrays me. Then my city follows suit, which adds to everything that's happening to him as he's going down. I just absolutely loved every bit of that. So that crash at the end means something more because of the dialogue enhancing what's already being done in amazing artwork.
Yeah.
I love these contingency plans that he's got in place. This is where the strategic Batman, I dig this character because it's a whole different level of obsession when he's like, I know there's going to be a point in time where I'm laid out and I'm going to need my suit to react for me. And oh my gosh, people are going to reach for my mask. What happens when they do that? People are going to try to hit me when I'm down. What happens when they go and do that? I love the fact that this has got gas, it's electrocution, it's all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, don't mess with the bat. I really, really loved that. I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit with that one, but flipping back over to the Ivy and Catwoman reveal. That was something where I'm going to be honest, because my first couple read-throughs, I didn't see the Ivy on her wrist. This was a really cool reveal because I needed it at the end of the first issue because I love Selina. I did not want to hate Selina. So this made everything beforehand with Selina work for me. Jim Lee's version of Ivy is stunning.
Yes.
This is how you do Poison Ivy, because Poison Ivy needs to be that character where it is the chemistry, the plants, all those kind of things, but there also has to be this beauty to her that just works, right? And there's a strength to it, but a beauty to it. There's a sexiness to it. And I love this fact where we've got the typical traditional no man can resist Ivy, and she's like, or woman. And that's not something you typically see. And I really liked that.
And I like the fact that, because again, I don't ever remember Ivy having this kind of influence over women. She was always influenced over men.
Yeah.
And again, we're seeing all the bad villains are getting an upgrade. Mm-hmm. And later we see how she gets the upgrade. Mm-hmm. So I loved how in this story, because I remember thinking, wait, huh? She can't do that. But later on in the story, they explain why she's able to do it this time.
Yeah.
And I love that. I absolutely love how this story played out. And I'm echoing everything you said about how she's drawn in this. And again, on the art side, I really love that now that we're at Ivy's place, it's more, the Ivy on her wrist is more accented. So yes. If you missed it before, you 100% see it now.
Full disclosure, I still missed it in my first few read-throughs, mainly because, I don't know, I guess I just maybe wasn't focusing on those little details at that. I love when you come back later and go, oh my gosh, like,
how'd I miss that? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But, I'll fully admit that. So this cover for the next issue, I know I jumped ahead a little bit talking about what was going on with Batman's cowl. We'll talk more detail about it. But this cover is absolutely one of my favorites from the series. This one stood out for me. I remember when the issue came out and I saw this cover. There is something about the way the plant weaves and its usage in the background, the look of Batman kind of like tied up in the ivy.
Yeah.
And just the way that Ivy and Selina are framed in this is a beautiful piece. This is something where, we always talk about things that are poster worthy. I don't know why this has got to be available in some capacity because it's Jim Lee and Scott Williams and Alex Sinclair artwork. I need this. Like, this isn't a poster. It needs to be something that I can, like, I'm surprised I don't have the issue on my wall
already. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been doing a lot of that. This is one I've gotten issues signed by Jim Lee and ended up doing that Frank Miller, Jim Lee, All-Star Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
So I've got that signed by Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair. I wish I had this issue with me at the time. Yeah. Not diminishing the issue that I did get signed, but I would love this signed on my wall right now because it's beautiful. This is a stunning piece. It may be my favorite one in all of Hush. We'll see as we do this exploration, but it's certainly, this is on the short list of the issues of this series because of just how beautiful it is. So let's go to where I was jumping ahead to because I love this sequence.
And not only just I love the team dialogue. You got Oracle in the head and he can't respond. Mm-hmm. Bruce is still conscious. He just can't move. And I love that we get this. And I love the fact that we've got Oracle on there and especially love Blackbird is down. I repeat, Blackbird is down. Calling out to all the Bat family, anybody in the area who can lend assistance. I loved that.
Yes. Yeah. The whole Team Batman approach and stuff like that. This era, I really liked that. Even though Bruce could be a jerk, there was still this sense of that he was like the godfather of the family. Yeah. Like, let's rally behind him.
Oh, God.
And I liked this version of Oracle and this role of Oracle was something that was just working really well. And this was during a great era of what they were doing with Birds of Prey and stuff like that. I love this. I love Huntress.
Yes.
And when she comes on the scene, it was really, really great. This one, I remember at the time there being some questions about this costume for Huntress because of the bare midriff.
Yeah.
But I gotta say it. I love the Huntress's outfit in all of its versions and variations. The bike, the wicked look on her face, like chapter 2, The Friend. I'm looking at that page right now.
Yeah.
And the look on her face, Huntress comes in with a ferocity when she's drawn well and people understand the character and how to convey the character. There is a different level of ferocity in the way that Huntress fights. Batman talks about it in the dialogue. When you see it visually mirroring that, she's revenge oriented. That's a lot of what drives her, the way that she behaves. She's a hero. No doubts about it, but there is a different level of violence behind what she does. And I love when you convey that with this character. This was a great Huntress era, just a great era of her. And I really loved her being a part of this whole thing. Her fighting, again, we talked about the difference between Batman's fighting and Nightwing's. I like that she's kind of a different mix between the two in how she does it. There's an acrobatic nature to what she does. And I like the difference. When we do all of these characters the same way, something gets lost. When you have artwork and fighting styles that show that, no, she is smaller, but she's very fit and very fast. And she takes advantage of momentum and things like that to make her fighting work. I really love, and that bow staff. I love the bow staff. It's something we both like with Tim Drake. I like it with her. It works really, really well here.
Oh, God, yeah. And again, the artwork showing the fluidity, showing the motion, showing her taking a punch and fighting back through it. That is the famous Mike Tyson line. Everybody's got a plan until they're punched in the face. Well, we see what happens with her when she gets punched. She goes down and she finishes the guy. She gets back up and she knocks him down, takes back her staff, and then kicks all their other asses. I loved seeing this fight sequence laid out. This was absolutely brilliant.
This fight is something I'm really, really digging. I do love the illusion from her part too that like Batman's never going to thank her for this.
Yeah,
because she's alluding to that, and it's very, very true that he wouldn't. He would be more admonishing her and chastising her for her way of approaching it and her fighting style and stuff than anything else, which is a very Batman thing to do. Can we talk about how cool that Batmobile looks?
Oh yeah.
Because I do think like it auto drives in, and I like this version of the Batmobile because it was very common in this era that when an artist would draw the Batmobile, they would do their own little take on it because Bruce just has a lot of cars. And this one, I really like it's kind of got a throwback a little bit to the 70s Batmobile, but using a modern sports car look to it in a way that just is really satisfying. Like I wanted to get in this Batmobile. This is a Batmobile. There's short-list ones where you're like, I want to ride that one.
I want to ride in that one. Yeah.
Like,
oh no, I agree. And again, everything you said, each of the artists have their own little take on it. And I don't think I've ever run into a version where I said, oh, I don't like that. I don't think I've ever had one of those experiences with a bad Batmobile. I think that is something kind of neat in that it allows, again, there's variations on with the Bat because of he's got so many cars. He's got so many bikes and this and that. He's got all the gizmos and the gadgets and the vehicles. I think that is something that allows some leeway. Same thing kind of goes with the Bat costume. We've seen variations on the costume, and sometimes it's variation based on where he's going. He's got an Arctic outfit. He's got an underwater outfit. He's got a space outfit. He's got a Gotham day outfit. He's got an evening outfit. He's going up against Mr. Freeze, so he's going to have stuff in there. And I like when we have these variations and we have this kind of stuff. And I do like the fact that thinking about just the injuries that Batman sustained, he's 100% unconscious, non-responsive. So he can't do anything. So it's all Oracle driving the car back to the cave for repair work. And I love how it's still that team dynamic of Bat's down, non-responsive.
And you can't take him to a hospital.
No.
So like in any normal situation, you'd be like, oh my gosh, we've got to emergency rush him to a hospital. It's like, get Superman and let's carry him to a hospital. That's not what happens here. Everything's about protecting the secret. And this is what Bruce's wishes would be. This is how Bruce would want this handled. It's really, really interesting the way this story goes. We also see Hush.
Yeah.
And it's something, the way that they used Hush initially in this story is something I really liked. This was, because we didn't see him at all first issue, did we? Am I right on that? I don't remember seeing him.
No.
I mean, I guess the first appearance of him would have been cutting the line, right? Because that was him that did that. So I guess we did get a little bit of an appearance of him, but I don't remember actually seeing the person that did it. Whereas here, I think this is one of the first appearances of the character in here. I like that he's watching over all these events like a puppet master. Because the strategy piece is really, really critical to this and something that's been alluded to in this story that's pretty important. Ivy bringing on the money and the fact that he just takes the money and there's very little dialogue between them in those sequences. She's looking for more information. He's staying very elusive. So one of the things with this character that's happened over time is I think some writers have handled him very well. Some writers have not. He is at his best when he's handled in this capacity. It's kind of like Bane. Hush has had the same problem Bane's had. There have been some very, very good stories with Hush. And there have been some not so good stories with Hush. They weren't terrible, but I feel like they've taken away the mystique of the character, which I think is pretty critical. Bane, we had the same problem where Bane was this strategic mercenary and they turned him into like a brute. And I think that never satisfied when it came to that character because he's the one that took down the Bat. So I think he's an example of this piece where this story at its core is showing you what Hush should be. And I really like him as a villain in this story with what was done with him.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. And again, strategy of Hush is absolutely brilliant because it's not just playing Bruce. He's using his villains. He's modifying. He's making his villains do things in different ways to throw Bat off.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's also manipulating Bruce. So this has been when we finally learned the full long con that Hush has been playing on the Bat. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's one of those things I loved about the story back when I first read it, and then you reread it again and you're like, oh man, and you see something different. And then every time you reread it, you see a little bit differences. And, there's some really just neat moments I know I missed. I love this Alfred sequence when he and Oracle are they're talking, going back and forth about who they should get for Bruce. I love the fact that we've got Bruce's skull showing the fractures. They've got the images of it. This is a full diagnostic set of just beyond anything any other hospital has in the bottom of the cave. And I love the fact that Bruce has this here.
Yeah, yeah. The intriguing part about this storyline is, and you don't really catch it until you do like a read through again. Hush's MO here is he's not trying to kill Batman. He's trying to destroy him. There's a difference between the two because he could have killed him. I mean, Batman was vulnerable enough that he really had every opportunity when those thugs were going at him. He could have killed him there.
Yes.
If he really wanted to. And Batman was that vulnerable at that point where that could have been a thing. I mean, Batman's hard to kill because of the fact that he's got all these contingencies in place, but Hush could have done it if he wanted to.
Well, think about it. The bullet that cut the rope, if that had been a headshot with the right caliber weapon
or followed with a headshot.
Yeah.
He could have done both.
Yeah. So he right there could have killed the Bat.
Yeah.
And and again, Batman's got his cowl is armored, but you pick the right ammo for the right job. And if with the Bat well enough to set him up exactly where he's going to be swinging, take the shot. That right there could have been the end of the story. Death of Batman.
But Hush wanted him alive and in this state. He wanted him this badly beaten up.
Yeah. He wanted him broken.
Yeah.
Now he wants to break the man to completely defeat the Bat. Killing him would have been too easy.
Right.
You need him to be broken. And I love that.
Well, you also needed him in a state where Bruce would recognize that he needs Tommy Elliott.
Yes.
Well, I did love the throw out to Chandra Kinsolving from back in Nightfall.
Yeah.
or Night's End. You know, I mean, well, that's part of the whole Nightfall storyline. But I like that we threw back there, and I like that they're like sitting here. But she's crazy. No, she's better now.
She's better now. She's gotten better.
Yeah, she's.
I don't know if I trust her still.
yeah. But I'm saying, but I get the reason why they're throwing her out here. Like she's been. It also set the stage for he's that bad, where we're going back to the person when he was broken before. Chandra helped get him back up and running again. Maybe she's the one we bring in this time around to make that all work. When he taps and does the Morse code, I mean that's Bruce. You are this beaten that all you can do right now is tap a few fingers to do Morse code, and you got the wherewithal to say, hey, this is who's going to help me. I'm wondering, like, what would they have done if he couldn't do that? Yeah. Because Alfred was like, this is his fight to... Yeah. And I think Alfred's right in what he was doing. He's like, listen, I know what Bruce's wishes are. He's to protect the secret, and this is the way we're going to go. He threw out Tommy Elliott as a way to say, listen, guys, don't just leave me here. Here's what we're going to do. And I like that there's a plan for destroying a vehicle, all these pieces to make it look like the billionaire playboy is doing his thing. And the cover stories are in place and you see it. I love that the media is all over this because this is so how our media is, right? Yes. People eating it up. What's happening to the stock market because of this? What's the controversy behind this? What was Bruce doing during that time? Yeah. This is all over the media. This is very contemporary in its handling of it, that this would absolutely 1000% be the buzz story.
Oh, God, yeah. And brilliant usage of just a couple pages where they're talking about the Oracle saying, hey, we'll have Nightwing destroy it. Then you see the article talking about the stocks, talking about Elliot being flown in. And I do love the fact that the one media comment, oh, it must be nice to have friends in high places. The dude almost died and you're being snarky about it. Come on, cut him some slack here. And I love when Tommy first shows up on the scene. Because again, he's playing the role just like Bruce plays the role. I thought that for me was absolutely brilliant. And you think about it, how many times does the billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne have to play a role? Well, Tommy Elliott's playing a role here. Even going down to Bruce, if you wanted to get together after all this time, you didn't have to try to kill yourself to do it. I love that Tommy is playing a part here as this friend of Bruce Wayne, superstar doctor coming in, flying in to save the day. It was absolutely brilliant on how he was written here as well.
Yeah. It's that I loved this with the Tommy Elliott when he comes in, just the way he comes in as almost a celebrity doctor. Yeah. He's used to coming in and he's working the room. He's in charge. He's got a great personality. People probably like to work with him as a surgeon because of the fact that he's that guy. It's not slapstick. It's just relaxed, comfortable, but business. There's a fine line that you tilt with that. He was very well written in this one. He knows he's a hotshot doctor, but he's a likable hotshot doctor when he comes in. I love the end. He's kind of like, hey, we're kind of done here right now. You can close that one up. It's like it was such an interesting way of handling things. Then it flashed to this gray sequence, and I know I talked about a little bit of this earlier, but I love the memory sequence being shadowed this way. So that way we know, wait a minute, we're going back in time and we're taking a look at where this relationship was put in place. I love stuff like this. We recently talked on Is It Jaws about Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And in that movie, it introduces a relationship of Bruce's from back before he was Batman, a relationship with a female that wasn't there. And that one feels much more Elseworlds. And then it sounds like it promises not. Just go listen to Is It Jaws and you can hear that particular piece. But if you remember Mask of the Phantasm, it does something like this, where it introduces something into Bruce's life that wasn't there previously. This one does the same thing, and I actually really like when writers are like, let's explore a little bit more about Bruce's childhood, because there isn't a lot about Bruce's childhood. So you have some room to be able to do this. Mask of the Phantasm did it very well. This did it really well, and it works in continuity.
And the thing I love, later issues, we get a conversation between Tim and Nightwing about, hey, have you ever heard of this Thomas Elliott guy? No. Bruce doesn't talk about his past. So I love the fact that we've got this opening that it makes perfect sense why Bruce has this friend that nobody knows about. Alfred knows exactly who he is because Alfred was around then. But all the other people around him in present day would have no idea who Thomas Elliot is because Bruce is not the most talkative guy when it comes about his past and his past relations and stuff like that. Now, it does make me wonder conversations between him and Damian off screen. If Bruce has if Bruce has opened up with Damian about some of his past that maybe Nightwing and all the other Team Bat families have no idea about. Those are the things I do wonder present day, if present day Bruce is more conversational with his son about his past versus what he's with his other sons.
And that's an interesting sort of piece.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of stuff when we start thinking through that. I love when these characters feel alive and three-dimensional, and it leads to questions like you're talking about right there.
Yeah.
Right? Because you start thinking off the page, which is what you're doing. I love this spy strategy sequence where you see the two of them. It's almost like their imagination's taking over at what's going on the battlefield, on the way that they're looking at it, and the light sourcing and framing there. This is beautiful for very simple, but I should say, what looks like simple color tones. This is strategic color choice. There's a huge difference between the two. Coloring and light sourcing here and how the playing pieces are framed up differently than the characters. Such a brilliant move in this one, because this is very, very important because we're setting the stage for what Tommy brought to Bruce in their childhood, that friendship, how it's impacted Bruce and Bruce's sense of strategy, but also equally important that this is who Tommy is as his core from his childhood. Tommy has always been a strategist. So as a little kid, he was developing strategies. We find out a lot more about this later, but it's something right here in this particular part of the story, especially when Thomas and Martha Wade are looking on, they were worried about their kid because their kid didn't have many friends. And which is unfortunate when that happens, and you sit to get there and see a best friend. It's something that I think is just incredibly interesting in these two because of just how tragic this friendship relationship really is.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And again, I loved everything you said about the art choicing, 100%. And the parents watching down, and they're worried. They're worried about their kid not having friends. And now they're like, no, he's got not only is a friend, he's got a best friend that he's going to know for the rest of his life. Yeah. I love the fact that you have these parents just looking on saying, this is perfect. This is wonderful. And we know how tragic turn this friendship goes. And I love, once again, the Bat can't have anything nice. He can't have any joy in his life. And I feel it's the tragedy that is Bruce Wayne, that is Batman. He needs to have the pain and suffering. And this is just one more piece of the pain and suffering that builds the wall that is the Bat. And I love it and I hate it at the same time because I want the Bat to have a friend.
Yeah, I agree. We look at chapter 3. This is another beautiful cover. The Killer Croc. Yeah. And seeing just the close up of what was done to Killer Croc. I mean, the incredible beast-like nature of Killer Croc and what was genetically done to him here is something very, very different. Seeing Batman's determination. It's like you see people fighting crocodiles where they're trying to keep the jaws from closing on them. I just love the visual of this, where Bruce is trying to get that leverage, obviously without getting his hands torn apart. It's such a really cool and stunning piece of art as well. When you get Jim Lee, Scott Williams, and Alex Sinclair on covers, it's like this should be a portfolio. There may have been a Hush portfolio for this. I wouldn't be surprised to find out that there wasn't one.
Oh God, yeah. This 100% would be amazing. Just the cover art of Jim Lee, I know, is out there, and these covers have to be in that collection, just because of we're gushing on covers. We talk about them, but we are really, this is something these are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of the piece of this. I'm just looking to see if there was a Hush portfolio real quick. Oh yeah. There is a Batman Hush art print portfolio set by Jim Lee and Alex Sinclair. You can get it on, they're on like eBay and stuff like that. I was figuring there was probably a poster portfolio. There's probably been more than one.
Yeah.
So there is, if you so are choosing to seek it out. There's a reason why I was looking myself. Just to try and see if that was the case and what's out there. I had to really explore and see what my options are, because there's covers from this I really want in some capacity. Whereas when this story came out, I didn't have anywhere to put them.
Right.
Nowadays, I'm thinking more of framing something up and putting it there. There's some covers from this that I wouldn't mind getting framed. That Catwoman, Poison Ivy from issue 2.
That's a nice one, yeah.
That's one I'd really like. The Batman, this strategy is a very interesting one, because the first time through on this one, I wasn't 100%. I figured Batman was up to something, but I couldn't have pinned down exactly what he was doing. Yeah. I love that he is antagonizing Croc for the purpose of setting up an escape so Croc doesn't know what he's doing. What they're trying to do here is track Croc to try and figure out what happened. Who's behind this? What's going on? What is leading to this whole thing? They're trying to track down the money, because at this point in time, they're just trying to find out everything that's going on. I love that if we can let Croc go back to the source, we may find out what's really going on here. I loved every bit of this choice. Batman's turning his back on him deliberately to antagonize him. I love that. I love the way that this whole sequence played out. And it's, how do you do this where you're not getting everybody killed? Because you got police officers there who are set up in armor, but you got to make sure this is a super powered killer Croc, that people are going to get hurt, but we want to make sure they're minimally hurt. Nobody dies here.
Yeah.
Such an interesting story.
Oh God. Yeah. It's the thing that does crack me up is this is right after Bruce had brain surgery.
Yes.
Yeah. This is right after Bruce's body was broken in multiple places. Bruce right now is dealing with multiple broken bones, a fractured skull, and he's got to fight Croc. And I'm like, this is not a good situation for Bruce to be in right now.
Fight Croc and not win.
Yeah.
Because it's got to look good. It's got to look like he's trying to win. But and also hopefully not wind up in traction again. It's such a great chapter of this piece. Like that chapter 3 page where Croc is holding him by the neck over there. This is getting to be very dangerous for Batman in the state that he's in, because there's no way he's healed yet.
No, it's still wide open, and the fact that he's able to do any of this is a flat out miracle.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because Bruce, we know, messed up his shoulders, messed up his ribs, messed up his back, and had a fractured skull. Mm-hmm. I keep throwing out the fractured skull because there's so many things that could go wrong with the brain while it's in healing. Mm-hmm. It's concussion syndromes and all that kind of stuff that you see happening constantly. When your brain is damaged, it doesn't heal. It takes a year for it to fully really heal. So Bruce is less than a couple weeks, maybe, so he's no way had enough time for it to heal. So I love, again, I do love seeing this, but again, I want to tell my friend, what are you doing, dude? There's got to be a better way, but there really isn't. This is the best way to get Croc agitated, to get Croc out of there, to get Croc to lead them to whoever's behind this.
Right. Amanda Waller being a part of this was something I forgot. Did you remember that when you were reading this? I didn't remember them all. Yeah. I liked her handling in this piece. I think because I've gotten so used to in not current continuity, where things have gone years later, that Amanda and Bruce aren't exactly working together on a lot of things right now, because Amanda's gone to a whole different level of extreme. I forgot in this era that the Wall was very much heavily integrated with the government. And when Bruce makes situations like this, there was an uneasy alliance, might be a strong word, but clearly if she's backing him with this play on Croc, there is a relationship here of some sort that is being played on. And I forgot this, and just how that was a very tentative game. And I liked that. I really liked it in this.
And I did, again, the reminder of President Luthor. I'm like, oh yeah, that period, that is awesome. The President Luthor period was absolutely brilliant. I loved that's when, again, I didn't read it when it was first out because I wasn't reading comics, but when I went back and reread all the Superman stuff, that was the period that I absolutely loved reading about President Luthor.
Yeah. When we sit there and see Tommy show up with Alfred, I really like the Alf. Going back to the childhood relationship with Alfred, the idea that Alfred's reaching out to Bruce going, hey, listen, we got a visitor. And I love that they're running the plate.
Yeah.
To find out who it is, because Bruce isn't there. He wants to know who is at Wayne Manor. What is this situation? What's going on? That's, again, the relationship with Oracle. I really liked this era, this era of using technology to be able to almost instantaneously. And the team, this version of Oracle, like I said, is just, I think it's such a great bonus of all of this. In the Batman Arkham games, Oracle plays this role in those games, and it's great to have her pop up every so often and give you that information. There's also the DC Universe Online game, which is still running. Oracle pops up a lot in that game as being your kind of guide in that one as well. And when you got these comics coming to life in some capacity like that, you get to see just how really cool this actually is. And I love that what plays out in the comics is actually something that is effective in that capacity. I miss Alfred.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a broken record on that piece. And I'm hoping maybe in this new era that's coming up that somehow somebody's got a way to bring him back, because I'm ready for an Alfred return. I don't want him to stay dead. I really don't. Yeah. Please find a way to bring Alfred back.
Well, here's the thing. I'm thinking in the current continuity, we have the new Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
It's not the original Manor. That's Vandal Savages, and Bruce isn't taking it back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if, because he's leaving the Brownstone, he and Damian are going into the Manor, the new Manor, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering if we got a new Manor, or are we going to get Alfred back? I'm hoping. Because like you, I love the fact that he's had to adjust, and I love the story that they told.
I do too.
Alfred, but I want Alfred back.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can do it. I don't know. Again, I don't know how. Give me a creator that's really smart and can write this story, and let's rock and roll. Let's bring back Alfred. I think we need to have him back now. I think it's time. Now, again, we're both in the boot on the story where if we don't get him back and they keep telling the story they're telling, it's a great story. So I'm not knocking anything, but I want him back. It's yeah.
Is Hush 2 done yet? I'm a couple issues behind on Hush 2.
I thought the last issue, I'm also behind on Hush 2.
Yeah.
I thought the last
I'm reading it. I know what I'm reading today after that. What I've been doing is I've been going through and reading that. Remember that Justice Society America series by Jeff Johns?
Yeah.
I'm rereading that and I'm almost done. I'm going to reread that Stargirl one, and then I'm jumping into the current JSA series, which I'm caught up on. But what I'm doing is they're doing that Justice Society Year 1 that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to go through this modern era of Justice Society and kind of reread all that. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I got behind on a couple issues of the current Batman series, which is very unusual for me, but it's just where my reading focus is right now. That's shifting me to it. So now I'm ready today to go through and do a marathon. I'm going to finish up that JSA. Then I'm going to go through and finish up Hush.
Marathons are so much fun sometimes.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
It's one of those things, what I do now with my reading is before work, I read 2 issues of a book.
Yeah.
Then after work, I read 2 issues. So every day I'm reading 4 issues of a comic. And sometimes I'm rereading stuff we're going to do on the show. Sometimes I'm reading something new. And I'm finding you could get caught up really quickly if you're reading 4 issues a day. But on the weekends, there are times when I'll just sit down, Dad's chilling, pour myself a cup of coffee, and I'll just sit there and I'll knock out a series. And it's so, oh God, yeah. And
what I'm hoping is, where I'm going with this is, this is the villain that screwed with them using Jason Todd that led to Jason Todd coming back.
Yes.
I'd love if he screws them in Hush 2, and this leads to Alfred coming back. It's like,
how awesome would that be?
Yes. So admittedly, I'm taking a very, very, this is like an extended wish list off of that piece, but if there's somebody who'd screw with him with Alf, it would be Hush. Just saying.
And I love this dialogue between the two of them. Very just friendly, formal, informal kind of stuff. But I love the fact that Alfred never let him in the manor.
Yes.
Never let Tommy in. The whole time he kept them at bay in the doorway. And I do love the fact that it was very friendly, very polite. There was never any snark. But for a fact that Tommy recognized what was going on. Mm-hmm. Tommy knew exactly why Alfred didn't let him in. And I love the fact that even at the end there, Tommy throws out there is like, as his surgeon and an old friend, tell him something for me. This is a dangerous game he is playing. And this going out and being out and about when he should be in bed alone. Dangerous. I love that little just throw at him.
You're mentioning the fact that Alfred never let him in. I love the motion of he's holding both doorways with his hand. Like Alfred's leaning in that way.
Yeah.
There is no way. It's not opening up the door and an invitation to come in. It's I'm holding the doors. What are you here for? And there's a different physical. Alfred didn't say it, but he's holding it that way. He's being very courteous. He's being very kind, but he is not welcoming him in physically either. And I love that we've all been there before, right? Where somebody's physically at the doorway and it's almost like you're going door to door asking for donations or something like that in the way that Alfred's standing. You know what I mean? It's that I love that, just that visual look, and it works really well in this. We go back to the childhood and what was going on there, and this Tommy's parents have been hurt. This is pivotal, by the way.
Yeah.
For if you haven't read this story before, key in on this sequence because this one's pretty important for later on. Tommy's parents have been in a car accident, which this is something that it's very, very dangerous, and they could die. Bruce's dad's on the scene. Everybody believes that their dad is larger than life and things like that. I believe my dad was. I mean, it's one of those things that are in there, and it's like, don't worry, my dad's on the scene. He's going to fix things. And he did to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Mom's okay. The problem was dad wasn't. And Bruce promised him that dad was going to take care of things. Tommy punches him and lashes out. This sequence is pivotal later on because you're seeing here, this is the strategy of Tommy Elliott as a kid.
Yeah.
And when you reread this story, knowing where this goes, and you read this sequence, this is the strategy of Tommy Elliott as a kid. He was 2 steps ahead of Bruce here and 2 steps ahead of us here.
Yeah. 2 steps ahead of the parents, 2 steps, again, the brilliance that this kid has. Again,
dangerous brilliance.
Strategery, right here.
Yes.
This is a definition of strategery, Sean.
Yes, because it's evil strategy, yes.
Evil strategy, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love this. And again, I love the artwork in this. There was so many moments, like I love that the Elliott's Butler and Alfred are having that conversation. He's like, oh, can't blame yourself, Clarence. Accidents. And just that moment of between the two trusted people in these families' lives. And then you get to with Bruce and Tommy. And then when the dad comes in and drops the bad news, I love the look on Tommy, the way they draw Tommy in that single panel. What it's just that, again, it's this other color palette, this black and white kind of color palette with the purples and blue hues in it. And just that look on his face is absolutely brilliant. I love this.
Now, the real tragedy of the story happens here. Tommy should be ashamed of himself. That is a beautiful vehicle.
Yeah.
Taking a bullet to that and destroying it the way that he did, he should be ashamed of himself. That vehicle is beautiful, needs to be preserved.
Yep.
It's any murders, anything else like that type of thing. This is a true murder right here.
Yes.
Because I loved that sequence because we talk about strategy. He knew which tire to blow out to cause that kind of damage.
And he knew how to blow out the tire.
Yeah.
The tire is, that's not a normal tire.
No.
And it's specially designed to prevent what happened. So again, you need to have the right caliber to do the job.
Yes.
Again, the brilliance of Tommy is throughout this is absolutely, I love seeing these moments. And I love the fact that Bruce is recognizing what he's up against. He knows there's a big bad out there. He has no idea who it could possibly be, but he knows there's a big bad out there who's dealing with, who's trying to take him down, using his villains against him like this.
This was this era of Bruce too, and Oracle's asking questions. Hey man, are you okay? What's going on out there? And I like Bruce is right on this one. So it's one of those things. He's a little harsh with Oracle, but I actually agree with his point. Is like, listen, we can't lose him right now. That's the whole intent right now. If we stop, if we pause, we're going to lose him. Do not lose that signal. He's right on what he's doing, which this is one where I'm totally team Batman on this one, because if he hesitated at all, he's not going to be there to save Catwoman.
Right.
And he shows up on the scene only because he was determined to keep chasing down Croc. I loved when he showed up. I loved how that looked. I loved that she was on a dangerous edge there. And Batman's, again, this is Catwoman. He's there as Catwoman. Move. There's when the two of them are working together, it is so cool.
Yeah.
And I just loved how that whole thing played out with Killer Croc and what was going on there. Batman was getting somewhere with Croc.
Yeah.
Croc was talking, and Batman was getting him to say what he needed to do. And actually, Bruce is the type of person that I will try to help you. This is something that actually, it goes back to, if you watch old episodes of Batman 66, there are situations where he's trying to rehabilitate and help those criminals. That is something that does carry over into modern Batman. It's flavored a little bit differently, but it's still a part of the core of who Batman is. Like, listen, kind of a victim in all of this. Stop. Let's work together on this piece. What were you trying to do here? Okay, what if I can help you on some level with that? Let's talk about this. Give me what I need. I can give you what you need. Let's work together here. He was getting there until the Wall's team shows up on the scene because she's worried about what she said in the beginning of the issue. And Bruce is like, these idiots. Yep. He's like, I was there. I had this.
Yeah, Croc started talking. Croc was going to give up who the big bad was. Now it makes me, I always wondered, and I've never had any confirmation on this, but I've always wondered if the reason the Wall showed up wasn't just because it's the Wall ruining things. It is the Wall in with Hush. Did Hush get to the Wall as well?
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's always a theory I've had in the back of my head. I've never seen any evidence that would suggest it. To me, it's always read like it's just the Wall being the Wall.
Right.
You have midnight. At midnight, we're hunting him down. And a couple pages earlier, we have Bruce acknowledge it's midnight. Mm-hmm. So he's run out of time. So this is the last moment. So the Wall is not going to give him any leeway because, again, this is all coming from Luthor. This is all Luthor order because the parent of the little boy is a big time contributor to Luthor. So this is a push from the president to get the Croc in custody.
And one of the reasons why I think Hush was there, ready to act if he needed to. He didn't need to because the Wall did.
Yeah.
And I like how he's sitting there with his all men by nature desire knowledge. And basically he's like dangling that carrot of, he's laughing at him. He's laughing at him from that distance. So I love that Bruce, because everyone has a sixth sense of when they're being watched. I love that he flips his head back and the Hush isn't there.
Yeah.
This issue ends in a situation that at the time, because this is before we've been very used to like the Tom King run where we really started exploring this relationship. And I was glad Tom King went back and explored some of this because one of the things I really loved about this is it went there with Catwoman and Batman and did it in a really great way. I wanted this to go somewhere. Yeah. And it is one of the things with the story. I don't think they did anything wrong. Where the story goes with the two of them is something I completely get. And I actually really love the story that was told here. But when you're doing this, if you're doing it right, as a fan, you should desire it. This is an example of this was so well written. A beautiful sequence with the two of them with the moonlight background and Gotham in the background of him finally just letting go and kissing her and what that looked like. What a great sequence. It's a great way to end this issue. And it was something that I just really thought was well done.
Oh, God. Yeah. And I'll tell you, the power of this sequence. When I didn't read this when it came out. I read this after the fact. So I was already used to a Batman and Catwoman relationship by the time I read this story. I remember the first time reading it, seeing this going, oh, that is awesome. And it still captures the power. And again, I love in the art sequence, both Batman and Selina's eyes are closed in the kiss. You have the initial one where Bruce's eyes are open. When aren't you at all curious? His eyes are open. And then you get to the full kiss, his eyes are closed. And I love the fact that it's, again, Bruce letting completely down his guard for that moment. And I love that. That was absolutely brilliant.
Criminals by nature are cowardly and a superstitious lot. To instill fear into their hearts, I became a bat, a monster in the night. And in doing so, have I become the very thing that all monsters become, alone. I love that that's the dialogue for that.
Yes.
Just because it's super cool. And him questioning, like, is this maybe a way to not become one of them? And I like when Bruce recognizes that relationship as being something that could potentially be good for him. I'm hoping at some point in time DC goes there with them. I think that there's, really goes there with them. I would love to see it. I get why they don't, because it's Batman, and I think there's an interesting line with skirting it. But I do think that would be something that would be incredibly compelling and interesting. And I don't think it takes away from solo Batman stories, because I think you can still do them. It just would be interesting to see if they actually would go there with the character. We've got so many stories without it. I would love to see real in continuity stories with going there.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm 100% on board with a full-on story of those two together. 100%. Let's actually have them get married. I think right along this thing with the lines of having Alfred back.
Yeah.
Having Selina and him as a 100% married couple item. Full on. And maybe not even, obviously, maybe not even go right into marriage. Have them be a full-on relationship. I 100% would be all for that. But in a way, in my head, I think they would have a better storytelling if they went off and got married. Yeah. And then we're reacting, and then everybody's reacting to them being married, and them figuring out the process. Have it be one of those moments where they look at each other and they're like, we can either do this dance or we can just do it. Let's go.
But have it not be clean. They have their share of issues. Embrace that. And because that's real, right? So I feel like that's something where their story dynamic is going to, by its nature, be so much different than Clark and Lois and what that looks like. I think Tom King was doing a great job exploring it. I'd love to see more with it, see other writers have a chance to play in that playground. It's something I'm hoping we get. At some point, because I would love to see that really, really explored. I feel like it's destiny for Batman. If he's going to wind up with somebody, it's Selina. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping at some point in time we actually get that for him.
Holy caffeine!
I'd like to remind everyone about RagingBullets.com. That is our show website. That's where you can find out information about upcoming episode releases as we put them out. That also links into X/Twitter and also our Facebook fan page. We are proud to be a part of two amazing Facebook group communities. And actually, our main Facebook group community is linked on our website and in our show notes. It's really the way that we get a chance to interact with all of you. We get comments on the episodes. We get your thoughts on current things that are going on with pop culture and gaming. We have an amazing group of people over there that are posting regularly just news that's coming out and their thoughts on what's going on in the comic book industry and related pop culture. Appreciate all of you. You can hear me bi-weekly on Is It Jaws, which is a film review podcast. The About Us section of our show notes is where you can find out information to connect with us on social media platforms and gaming consoles and things like that. We love connecting with all of you, so please be sure to reach out to us in your preferred methods. We are sponsored as always by DCB Service and InStockTrades.com. Mr. Seguin, what's going on over at DCBService.com?
Remember, all of the Absolute lines are having multiple printings, and there's still a lot of availability there. So if you've missed any of the previous Absolutes, pick them up. We also have Batman and Robin Year 1 hardcover, 38% off, only $24.79. We have the DCKO series, issue 1 of 4, 48% off, only $3.11. And Justice League, the Omega Act one-shot, 38% off, only $3.71. Thank you, DC.
Over at InStockTrades.com. There's some really cool books here. There is Batgirl, trade paperback, volume 1, Mother. This is $17.99 regularly, 48% off, only $9.35. DC Finest, Hawkman Wings Across Time trade paperback. Yeah, you know I'm going to own this one. I don't own. I did not get this on pre-order. I'm going to pick it up for In Stock Trades. It's $39.99 regularly, 55% off, only $17.99. I'm jonesing for that. DC Horror presents $9.99 regularly, 48% off, only $5.19. Great part, there's a couple of those that are below $10. I mean, it's great to be able to pick up comics at a discount like that. So I want to thank DCB Service and InStockTrades.com for continuing to support our show. Our next episode, Jim, we are back, and we are going to be talking about Hush Part 2. We'll see you then.
Bye.
miles all set to go. Sounding pretty good. Jim's calling into Zoo. We're gonna start recording. We'll talk about the latest from DC. We could talk for hours. Cause I'm a podcaster, yes I am. Well, I'm a podcaster, yes I am. Cause I'm a podcaster, yes I am. I do a podcast with my best friend. We started many years ago. We have hundreds of shows. We spoil stories all the time. Come back later when you've read them. We talk about TVs and movies too. We do it all for you. Cause I'm a podcaster, yes I am. Well, I'm a podcaster, yes I am. Cause I'm a podcaster, yes I am. I do a podcast with my best friend. Cause I'm a podcaster, yes I am. Well, I'm a podcaster, yes I am.